Let's talk about Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right now, the Buccaneers have won their last 4 games. And this is a great sign if you are a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, because if they win out for the rest of the season, they easily make the NFL playoffs. They're 8-6 and they lead the NFC South. You don't want them to go out there and lose a game or two, because if they do and the Atlanta Falcons go on a run, the Atlanta Falcons hold a tiebreaker. Not only did the Falcons beat them once this season, they beat them twice. But when I look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' remaining schedule, you face the Dallas Cowboys on the road. That could be tough, but with the way the Buccaneers are playing right now, I may take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win that game, and they may be a favorite to win that matchup. Then they face the New Orleans Saints at home, and then they'll face the Carolina Panthers. So when I look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're in a good situation right now. You've already defeated the Carolina Panthers. You've already defeated the New Orleans Saints. All you have to do is go out there, control your own destiny, and take care of business. But this is something the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are used to underneath Todd Bowles. They were in a similar situation last season. It came down to a tiebreaker between them and the New Orleans Saints. Not only did they make the NFL playoffs, they defeated the Philadelphia Eagles. And you can make the case that they were spiraling out of control. But at the same time, the Philadelphia Eagles earlier that year defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the regular season. In the playoffs, they went out there and they took care of business. Todd Bowles went out there. He blitzed the entire game. Coach Johnson, the offensive coordinator at the time with the Eagles, did not have an answer for it. And the Buccaneers walked out. They won that football game. And then the next week, they went on the road against the Detroit Lions. They played the Detroit Lions very close. They lost to the Detroit Lions because of an interception through the middle of the field by Baker Mayfield. But we fast forward to this season, because Dave Canales was your offensive coordinator last year. You still cannot run the football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not been able to run the football at a high clip for a very long time until now. Part of that is because of bad coordinators like Byron Leftwich at the time. Dave Canales was not a bad coordinator. He was good enough to get hired by the Carolina Panthers to be their head coach. But you bring in Liam Cohen. Not only did you bring him in, you bring in another running back in Bucky Irving from Oregon. And you bring in Graham Barton, center from Duke. A very good football player that can play left guard, center, and right guard. Why do I bring up all those names? Because you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're in the bottom of the league last season in terms of rushing. This season, they're 5th in rushing offense. A complete 180 from what has happened over the last 2 to 3 years. The last time they had a consistent run game, Ryan Jensen was the starting center. And Ryan Jensen, towards ACL, he was never the same. The offensive line was never the same. The play calls did not look the same. You bring in Graham, who has potential to be one of the best centers in Buccaneers history when you look at the trajectory that he's on right now. I love everything about the Buccaneers offense. Liam Cohen has come in. He's made an emphasis. Let's run the football with Bucky Irving. Let's run the football with Rashard White. And Bucky Irving is a better running back than Rashard White. But I love the fact that Coach Liam has not went out there and just phased him out. And if you have questions, hey, can they do this against consistent threats in the NFC? Can they do this against elite level competition like the Detroit Lions and like the Philadelphia Eagles? They can. Against the Philadelphia Eagles, Bucky Irving, 10 carries on the day, 50 rushing yards. Rashard White, 10 carries, 50 rushing yards. They ran the football consistently on a top rushing defense in the NFL. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Not only just that, they were the first team this season to defeat the Detroit Lions. And the Detroit Lions at the time, they did not have major injuries. They defeated a well and healthy Detroit Lions team. They forced Jared Goff to have over 50 pass attempts in that matchup because they stopped the run with Vita Vea. And I look at this Buccaneers defense. They have been healthy this entire season. They're still not fully healthy. They find ways to win. And over the last 4 games, it hasn't just been pretty either. Against the Los Angeles Chargers, that was a great win. I'll talk about that in the next couple of minutes. The last 4 games, Baker Mayfield, 8 passing touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Need to tone down the interceptions. The interceptions will hurt this team. It will cripple them in the NFL playoffs. But he has 32 passing touchdowns on the season to 14 interceptions. He's been phenomenal. He looks like a franchise quarterback with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm happy with that. I'm very happy for Baker Mayfield, the entire situation that he was dealing with his family and his dad and the money situation, his time with the Cleveland Browns. They basically shoved him out the door for Deshaun Watson. You look at the Cleveland Browns now, they're in a completely terrible situation. But you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, phenomenal. They basically walked into this situation. They lucked into it. Tom Brady retires. They go out there. They sign Baker Mayfield. You have Chris Godwin. You have Mike Evans. You make the NFL playoffs. You have Todd Bowles at the head coaching position. I still have questions about him. A lot of that is because he left the starters in the game against the Baltimore Ravens, and Chris Godwin hurt his ankle, and he's going to be out for the rest of the season. He hasn't played since then, obviously, because he broke his ankle. But questions like that with Todd Bowles, he shut me up over the last four to 5 weeks. He's been a very good coach. I will give him his credit. He was a very good coach last season. And when I look at the Buccaneers defense, before I get back to the offense, Kalijah Kancey missed time at the beginning of the season. Kalijah Kancey is a very good football player. He could be a defensive end. He could be a defensive tackle. Vita Vea is one of the best defensive tackles in the game. It's going to be hard to run the football on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFL playoffs. They're going to make you one-dimensional. Since both of these guys have been fully healthy, in the last 5 weeks, this is a top 5 rushing defense in the NFL because you have those 2 run stoppers. And you have Yaya Diaby, who has been more so focused on stopping the run than getting to the quarterback. Led the team in sacks last season. This season, not as much, not as productive in the sack total, but he's still been a very good guy coming off the edge and putting pressure on the opposing quarterback. This front 7, masterful. Levante Davis, still one of the best linebackers in the NFL. This man refuses to age. He's 34 years old. He's 34, and he leads the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in tackles. 5.5 sacks on the season, 3 forced fumbles, 1 interception. You usually worry about linebackers when they get into their mid to late 30s. You say, hey, they're about to fall off a cliff. Not with Levante David. And he had a great game against the Los Angeles Chargers. This defense has played so well over the last month. Justin Herbert only had 1 interception entering the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And their Buccaneers were on the road in Los Angeles. He threw his 2nd interception of the season against the Buccaneers defense. They forced him into tough situations. They made him uncomfortable all day long. They can push the pocket from the interior, and you know that Todd Bowles, he's going to blitz. Now, it comes with a cost. This is a 29th team in terms of passing defense. I'm worried about that, but at the same time, you've seen players like Tyke Smith step up. He's been a very good player at the nickel position, playing cornerback, playing safety. Zion McCollum has been a very good cornerback. Jamel Dean, he's a veteran. He's solid to have around. Their secondary is not as bad as you would think. They do give up big plays, but when they're able to lock in and dial in, especially in short yardage situations, they're going to make it tough on you. And that's what they did against the Los Angeles Chargers. If you have any doubts about Baker Mayfield and this offense working out, the Chargers have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They have constantly given Patrick Mahomes hell this season. They've went out there. They have held teams to underneath 20 points multiple times this year. The Buccaneers scored 40, and they beat them 40-17. And they shut Justin Herbert out in the second half. They outcoached elite coaching with the Chargers. They bullied the bully. They went out there. They ran the football down their throat. They blitzed Justin Herbert, and Baker Mayfield was able to deliver the football to Mike Evans, to Jalen McMillan, to Cade Otton. And speaking of those wide receivers and those weapons, Mike Evans missed time this season, dealing with a hamstring injury. In the same game that Chris Godwin got injured in, he hurt his hamstring. And we've seen other wide receivers step up, like Sterling Shepard, in short situations. Sterling Shepard is not going to go out there and single-handedly kill you at this stage of his career because he's dealt with so many injuries in the past with the New York Giants. But he has that connection with Baker Mayfield dating back to Oklahoma. They're very close friends. You look at Mike Evans, he is still one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. It's going to be very interesting to see if he can have over 1,000 receiving yards this year, because it's a chance that he might not. There's only 3 games left. I believe that he will. And if he does, that means that he will have over 1,000 yards receiving every single season in his career. He's going to go down as the best wide receiver in Tampa Bay Buccaneers history. This man is phenomenal. As he gets older, he gets even better, especially in red zone situations. 9 receiving touchdowns on the season, 749 receiving yards. Jalen McMillan has stepped up in that role of Chris Godwin. Trey Palmer, very solid wide receiver to have. Cade Otton, this is the man that has had a breakout season. 60 catches on the year, 600 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns. He's averaging a first down a catch. And Coach Liam, it was some time when Mike Evans was out, they were running this offense through Bucky Irvin, Rashard White, Cade Otton, and Sean Tucker. They have 3 running backs that can give you something different. Bucky Irvin is the best running back that they have, but Rashard White, don't get it twisted. He can kill you on the interior, and he could do a lot of mean jump cuts, and Sean Tucker is just fast as hell. They all give you something different, but they're all very good in their own unique way. And it helps out Baker Mayfield and it helps him see the field. I look at the NFC right now. You have a lot of tough teams. You have the Minnesota Vikings. You have the Green Bay Packers, Philadelphia Eagles, Detroit Lions. Right now, the Lions are dealing with a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball and now the offensive side of the ball. But when I look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just because they play in a bad division doesn't mean that they're a horrible football team. They know what to do into tight situations. And for whatever reason, Todd Bowles, when it comes playoff time, the man steps up as a coach. I have to give credit where credit is due. This is a good situation for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All they have to do is win their next 3 games and you're in. You may be able to go out there and even lose a game and you'll still be fine. But just to keep things safe, win your next 3 games and you're in. But to see this offense take a complete 180 from what they were last season, in terms of not running the football, that's going to be the ultimate chess piece. Because in order to go out there and win a Super Bowl, you have to have a run game that is consistent. And you have to have a defense that can go out there and stop the run and get you off the field in third down situations. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have that. I'm not calling them a Super Bowl contender, but I do believe they are the best team right now in this division. And hopefully Antoine Winfield can come back sooner than later. Antoine Winfield is sorely missed. Part of the reason why they lost that first game against the Atlanta Falcons, there was no Antoine Winfield. And Antoine Winfield was a phenomenal player last season. He's been great every single season in his career with the Buccaneers up to this point. So as soon as he comes back, the better. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and who do you think will ultimately win this division? The Buccaneers or the Atlanta Falcons? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.